I was thinking that I was looking through this. I think it was a Bleacher Report article that had, 3 possible surprises for AEW's pay-per-view All In. And, it was like Goldberg and it was, I forget, something else. And then the third option that they presented like somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but it got me thinking, was Jey Uso, who, of course, in real life, outside of kayfabe and the storyline, is very much obviously under contract with WWE. But if you had Jey Uso show up at All In, under contract, obviously, with WWE, and let's just say, they have a history with FTR. Let's say they cost FTR the tag titles. He leaves and never shows up again, right? Like in AEW. Like it's just a one-time thing for a huge headline for a huge moment. I started thinking about it in terms of if I was running the two companies. I thought of it in terms of like an NBA trade. Who says no? So Jey Uso having a one-off appearance at AEW All In, and this is obvious. I call this like a just for fun thought experiment. Who says no? Does WWE say no? We're not going to allow that. Does AEW say no? We wouldn't want that because we can't pay it off, or do they take the splash? Who says no in this idea, Bart Winkler?
Well, WWE would say no.
Why?
Why would you do that?
Because you would steal headlines from the other company.
They would steal it from you.
Who would steal? How do you figure?
Oh, so you think if Jey Uso shows up, the headline is WWE's Jey Uso shows up to All In?
There's nothing that, as I'm so excited for MJF and Adam Cole, there's nothing that would happen that night, though, that would override the headlines of Jey Uso very much under contract with WWE in real life.
But these two companies, I almost like these two companies are not going to help each other.
Unless it's just so obvious of a slam dunk for both of them that they do. So maybe your answer is both say no, and that's a perfectly acceptable answer.
Yeah, I don't think Tony Khan would want to do that.
I don't think if I was Tony Khan, I don't think I would want to either because of what I'm saying. Like it would take away from everything else that happens.
There's a lot of us that like fanfic, like a crossover of some sort between the two companies. I just don't think it will ever happen.
It won't. It's a purely for fun thought experiment.
So who says no? Like
who says no quicker?
WWE.
WWE says no quicker.
Yeah.
And I would tell you that if I was arbitrating, like the arbitrator for that negotiation, I would tell WWE to reconsider. I don't see the downfall.
You don't see the downfall. You just gave AEW a massive moment with your guy.
Who can never pay it off on their shows and will only give you headlines during their biggest ever event. Because the headline would say WWE's Jey Uso.
But then there'd be more people that watch Dynamite for Jey.
But I'm saying it's a one-off, like in this hypothetical. It's like, well,
there's probably a good contingent still of WWE fans that aren't really that familiar with AEW at all.
You might be right.
Like we know both.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people that we read and look at know both.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are like, what is this? What is this thing? Where did Punk go? Why is he on Saturday nights when nobody's watching that show? A wrestling show on Saturday night.
Yeah,
sports on.
Well, like what? College football? Like I'm not watching
college football.
I'm not watching college football. I love that wrestling's on.
They're going against WWE pay-per-views.
Sometimes.
They're going against boxing and UFC.
Well, maybe the undercard of those pay-per-views.
They might as well just air that show on Sunday morning because that's when people watch it on their DVR.
Maybe.
Right.
Okay, so you think they both say no, but WWE says no faster?
Yeah, I don't think WWE would ever do anything to give any sort of credibility to AEW. They did mention them that one time. Sami Zayn mentioned them.
Yep, very, very early on
because the crowd was so dead.
Yeah,
he talked about that after. He's like, The crowd was dead. They did a Q&A segment and everyone was asking shitty questions.
I do remember this segment. I do.
He's like, I just said AEW to do something.
Here's the other one I saw. I took a screenshot of this. This is not All In related. By the way, you're not going to order the pay-per-view?
No.
Why?
Because WWE trained me to just not have to pay for pay-per-views.
All right, you cheapie. All right.
And they're doing one the next week?
They only usually do 4 a year, but because
they're going to drop $100 in 2 weeks on AEW?
Without second thought. Yeah.
So who's going to show up? There's got to be a surprise. You can't go to London and not have a surprise.
My guess is it'll be Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks.
That ain't big enough.
What?
Sasha Banks.
It's not my I'm not a Sasha Banks mark, but that'd be a huge deal.
Yeah, they need help in the women's division.
Be a huge deal.
What about Edge? Any prospect of Edge?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you see the Hardys or Christian appear at All In, which they're not currently scheduled to, if all of a sudden the Hardys music hits or Christian comes out, shit's about to go down. For sure.
That might be a one-off though. I don't think he's going to sign with all.
Oh, he would definitely sign with them as a coach / producer / 4 matches a year talent. Yeah, he would.
What did they ever do with Big Show? Where is he?
Yeah, I mean, he's their community events guy. He throws out the first pitch at the games, and
Where's Mark Henry?
Same, actually. Those two, Mark Henry, that's what he was with WWE, though. He was their.
Titus O'Neil.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, their community events face. Yeah.
All right. I think I would think that I think Edge might show up.
I think he might too. I'm not going to get my hopes up. I think it'll where Christian Cage used to be in Impact Wrestling for a long time, and he was Christian Cage, so people accepted that he was Christian Cage, and so you might shorten that to say Christian. Edge has pretty much only since 1998 been Edge. So you don't have the familiarity with when he comes out as Adam Copeland, which is his.
I think a lot of people know Edge's name though.
Yeah, but Christian Cage is the Hardys owned their names, the Dudleys owned their names.
He's saying he should come out as Adam Edgerton,
or something like that. I don't know if you heard. I don't remember if it was Dynamite or Collision where Jim Ross said, I signed Edge and Christian together back in the day, and I signed them on the same day, and blah blah blah. I was like, oh, we're just casually saying Edge right now. Okay. I thought that now if that happens, that would be a huge pop, right? But you can't have on this day. Actually, maybe you could, because that's just an Alter Bridge song.
Oh, so Tony Khan would pay for that.
Yeah, I guess you probably could do that. No, you couldn't
have to have the theme.
Yeah.
You don't bring Edge out to oh my God, is that Adam Copeland?
Yeah,
it's got to be
strong.
You think you know me? On this day,
I see clearly. All right,
that would be the pop of the night.
Oh, for sure. Especially if they got the song.
I still think the one pay-per-view I did buy when Adam Cole came out.
Adam Cole, baby.
And you're like, oh, okay, then Bryan Danielson came out.
Yeah.
They'll never top that.
That's I mean, there was actually this question going around Twitter I saw the other day on wrestling Twitter, which was what's the one defining moment so far of AEW? And it was Kenny Omega defeats Christian Cage in the main event of All Out, which is the pay-per-view coming up right after All In. And then Cole comes out, and it's wow, that's pretty big. And then also Bryan Danielson comes out. It's okay, and that was only a month or two after CM Punk had debuted.
What about when Kenny Omega said, 69 me, Don?
He did?
Yeah. That was like
Okay.
I think that was the exploding one that didn't work. And then
Oh yeah,
he's
yeah.
like 69 me Don.
I remember when we were at one of the AEWs we went to, and that was when Kenny Omega said to Christian, he said, "What? You think you know me, Punk? Huh? You think you know me?" Remember that?
I do.
All right. Here's my last one for you. It's a WWE historical centric one, but it says, "You now own WWE, but you must make budget cuts. All 4 of these guys are in their prime, but one must go. Cena, Reigns, Austin, Rock. One must go. Cena, Reigns, Austin, Rock. They're all in their prime."
Roman Reigns.
And it's not even close, right? Like, who are you even remotely consider? I'm bringing it up because I wanted to see if you reacted as like it's no disrespect to Roman Reigns, who's like the thing on WWE TV.
Well, you can't get rid of Rock or Stone Cold, and then you can't get rid of Cena.
You can't. Yeah. They put Roman up against too large of names.
Yeah, Cena is this like, and I always rooted against Cena. I was like, God, you can't be doing this. Now every time he comes back, I'm like, ooh, it's John Cena.
Do you really?
I love when he comes back.
Oh,
he's so big. He's coming back next week.
But who gives a shit?
It's John Cena.
Are you 5 years old? Like,
oh, Cena's the best.
In what way?
It's because he's John Cena.
How big was John Cena?
We have delivered to the permanent end the execution of Osama bin Laden.
Yeah. He did say that. He did. That's all I got. What do you think is going to... Adam Cole and MJF will conclude the pay-per-view as still brochachos. Mm-hmm or mm-mm.
I think they got to stretch that out.
So will they still be brochachos?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
They might need like a common enemy to fight against. Somebody's got to come out.
Well, they could. Who could?
Somebody.
Well, they've kind of got that awkward storyline angle with Roderick Strong and those other dudes. It could be Kyle O'Reilly, his old buddy from...
No one cares about them anymore.
I'm just saying, these are names that could become involved. But I think they'll still be buddies. I don't see MJF losing.
Is Punk still fighting with the title that's not really the title?
I think so. I mean, yes. The answer is yes. Against Samoa Joe.
Is it for the non-title?
I think it is.
Oh.
I think it is.
Why would they do Punk Joe if they just ruined Punk Joe on TV a month ago?
Well, because to Samoa Joe's point, it was a roll-up, and you can't end this historic rivalry with a roll-up.
I guess.
Which I think is totally fair.
All right, friend.
Okay, buddy. Talk to you later.